want the win. Lucky 7 every time I walk in. You know, every time I walk in, I'm the best thing. I'm the best thing. They all watching. Every time we walk in, we the best thing. We the best thing.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy lunchtime. My name is Chelsea Mann. I'm a field education trainer for Wella Professional, and I'm happy to welcome you guys to our second Instagram Live on the BEA Awards. We're very, very excited, guys. This is my absolute favorite time of year. Anybody who knows me knows that this is where I really sort of come alive. So I'm excited to be here. I have a very special guest again with me today. And yeah, we're really jazzed to talk about our subject today. So again, my name is Chelsea Mann. I'm a field education trainer. I'm coming to you from my studio in very cold but very sunny St. Albert, Alberta. And I'm going to have my co-host join here in just a minute. She is somebody topic today, and I'm happy to have her on. So today we're going to talk about the Beauty and Vision Awards. We're going to give you guys tips and tricks on how to enter, how to do it the easy way, how to do it the hard way, how to do it the complicated way, and everything in between. We're going to answer your questions, and we're very excited to be here to do this. Hey, ML.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey.
Hey.
So I was just saying that we're excited to be on talking about the Beauty and Vision Awards today, and I think all of my function on Instagram is working today. I'm having a little good hair moment today, so the cold's not bothering me.
The hair looks great today, Chelsea.
Thank you. You too. So yeah, for those of you that are just joining us, like I said, we're going to talk BEA Awards today. There is 2 of us on the call, and some of our colleagues are in the comments as well. So please feel free to add your questions to the comments if you want to do that. There's also a question. I'm on the top of my own screen right now, so I don't really know where it is. But at the bottom, there's a little, it looks like a speech bubble with a question mark in it. So if you have a question, you can feel free to pop it in there as well, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. You good to go, ML?
I'm ready to go.
Sweet. So let's talk about BEA Awards. So first of all, I want to talk about what is the BEA Award. So BEA Awards, as you know, ML, for those of you guys watching, BEA stands for Beauty and Vision Award. So if Trend Vision is something that you're used to or something that you've heard before, the Beauty and Vision Awards is really the reinvention or the evolution of the Trend Vision season. So Trend Vision is something that is very sort of close to my heart, and I know is, you know, part of ML's journey as well. So yes, it's a big, you know, global competition that we put on every year at Wella. And while we talk about it as, you know, in terms of being a competition, it's also sort of a growth process and a networking opportunity. Like, do you feel like you got so much more out of it than just competing, ML?
I totally did. That for me was a huge learning curve. It was really great for my career to actually do it.
Yeah, totally. So, you know, I think that there's, you know, a lot of, and we talked about this a little bit on our last live. If you guys are, you know, thinking about entering the Beauty and Vision Awards, ML and I did another live on Beauty and Vision Awards where we talked about vision and preparation and things like that you can find on Wella Canada West IGTV right now if you guys want to watch both of them. But I think for this live, we're really going to talk a lot more about the logistics of competing and how we do this and what we do. But I wanted everybody to understand that, like, competing, yes, is, you know, it's nerve-wracking and it's exciting and it's all of these things. But the biggest thing I like all of my, you know, colleagues and my people, my salons to understand about competing is that competing is not about the win. You know, the win's fun. Like, we've done it, right?
Yes,
like,
it is. Absolutely.
But by the time you get there, like, I remember I was there when you know, had your moment, and I just, you know, when the win happens, it's sort of secondary at that point. You're so tired and you're so spent that it's just like, it's, you know what I mean? The best part of the experiences have already gone by at that point, right? Yeah. So I think it's important to understand that if, you know, I think that, you know, competing is yes about competing and about, you know, holding yourself up to your peers and seeing that as a mirror. But competing is about growth. It's how we grow as artists. And putting your art out into the world with the knowledge that, you know, other people very well may not understand it or think that you're crazy, is such a special part of competing. And I believe that there's beauty in that vulnerability, right?
I agree, for sure.
Yeah. So why do I'm going to start on our sort of agenda here. Why, ML, would you say that that you, like, I know at first because we were working together at the time, you had some anxiety around competing. Like, what was that like for you?
Honestly, it was never an interest. I was happy behind the chair, comfortable, which I think a lot of stylists, we kind of get comfy with what we're doing. And something big like that can be very scary and very intimidating. And that was how I felt. I didn't think I was prepared. I didn't think that I would do good at it. And I just didn't want to be disappointed, I guess. So it honestly changed me as a stylist and as a person. It allowed me to be creative, allowed me to be my true self and kind of show off what I could do. You know, that's not just behind the chair, basically.
Yeah,
so,
without all those constraints, right?
Exactly, totally.
So what would you say was the difference maker for you that, and I know this isn't on our list and I'm sorry, but what would you say is the difference maker for you? Like, what finally helped you say, you know what, other than like, you know, just sort of having a boss say to you, like, we're all doing this, what would you say was like the push that sort of really helped you become comfortable?
Well, I think that sometimes we need that push to kind of do stuff, right? We kind of need to conquer our fears, and whether it's competing or, you know, mountain climbing or whatever the case may be, sometimes just having somebody kind of push you and have a team that stood behind me, that kind of made things so much easier for me to just say, fine, if they're all doing it, then I'm going to try. And that's the way I started.
Totally. And I'm like, I remember that. And it was, you know, for me, it was very much a like worst case scenario situation. I very much thought about what's the worst possible thing that can happen. The worst possible thing that can happen is that nobody understands your art and nothing happens with it. And people think you're nuts. Well, welcome to my life anyway.
I think that also, you know, I had seen you compete because you had done it a lot before us, and we had another coworker as well, which kind of, you know, tricks your curiosity a little bit as to, well, if they can do it, I can too, right? So I think that also helped. For sure.
Yeah, I think the team environment is so important. So if you're somebody who's competing, if you're watching right now and you're somebody who's into competing, drag those teammates along with you, even if they're just like, I say this in my salons all the time, Amel, like if you're somebody who competes and you have people who have anxiety around it and things like that, just have them come to the shoot, even if they're not going to compete. Just, you know, tell them like, I could use your help or whatever, even if you don't need their help. But like, you know, you and I have had a fabulous mentor in our lives who always told us, if you can't enter it, you should mentor it, right? So
agreed.
Even if you are entering it, you should mentor it, you know?
And you don't necessarily have to have somebody else who's competing to help. I had a coworker who had no interest of competing, but she was there to support me and kind of like cheer me on to make the process a little easier and less stressful for me.
Totally. How many times were we all like in the salon trying to shoot and going crazy, and the best thing that happened was the person who brought the food.
Agreed. Awesome. That was the best part for sure.
You know, usually it was somebody's mom or like whatever, but whoever brings the food is always the winner, you know?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, let's get into the sort of the nitty gritty of this. So for those of you watching, if you're wondering like, when are they going to get into inspo, or when are we, that's not what this session is about. We're going to tell you guys exactly how to compete, what the steps are, and what you're doing. We're going to talk a little bit at the end about model selection, so stay tuned for that. And some of those, I'm going to go through some of those things. But if you're looking for inspo and you're looking for advice on how to do that, head over to Wella Canada West page on Instagram and go onto our IGTV. The other session that we did for BEA Awards with ML and I was about inspo. We go through the whole thing in there. So you guys can go ahead and watch that as well, okay? So let's talk about rules and all of that kind of stuff. So we do have some key dates and important things to remember. Ooh, that's not as great as I want it to be, but that's okay. So entries for the BEA Awards, guys, just from a purely logistical standpoint, entries are open right now. So they opened on January 15th and they close on May 20th, okay? Meaning that you have to have your entry in by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? So
good call.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that those entries are in well ahead of time. Don't wait till the 11th hour. Right? Remember that, ML, where we all like were waiting till the last minute?
We did. That's for sure.
It used to be a thing with when it was Trend Vision where there was an advantage to the later your entry went in, there was an advantage there. That's not really the case with BEA Awards. In fact, with BEA Awards, you want people to vote for you on the website. So you want to make sure that your entry goes in as soon as possible. Okay. Finalists will be announced on June 4th. Semi-finalists will be announced on June 4th, and then finalists will be announced on June 25th. Okay. So guys, when I say announced, I mean, if you are a semi-finalist or a finalist, we will reach out to you via Instagram DM. So if you don't know how to DM on Instagram or you don't know where to find that or whatever, go ahead and drop a comment below or into the question card, and we're happy to guide you through it. You can also pop your email into the comments as well. We're happy to reach out to you, okay?
Absolutely.
I forgot to say it at the beginning, ML, my Instagram handle, guys, is at chelsea.wella. If you guys want to follow me or drop me and slide into my DMs there, you can. What's your IG handle, ML?
And I'm hair_by_Mary Lynn, spelled L-I-N-E.
Yeah.
So drop me a DM anytime if you have any questions as well. I'm here to help.
Sweet. So those are our key dates, okay? As far as rules and regulations, guys, we have a website online where I pulled all of this information from, okay? It's the beautyandvisionawards.com. And you can find all of our like in-depth rules and regulations are up there. All of our info is up there. We demoed the website on our other live, so you can head over there for that one as well. I'm not going to take you guys completely through the rules, but a few like major rules that people always ask me about is, you know, can I enter more than one category? The answer to that is yes. Can I enter more than one time? The answer to that is yes. Can I use a mannequin head to enter because it's pandemic and I can't have people in the salon? The answer to that is yes. You also will find on the website, if you're going to use a mannequin head, we also have a relationship with Pivot Point, and there's a discount code on our Beauty and Vision Awards website for you to order a mannequin head at a discount to be able to do your Beauty and Vision Awards entry. Okay. Any big rule stuff that I missed there, ML?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, those are are those the ones you get asked about too in the field?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think the mannequin head one's a big one right now.
That is a big one, actually. That's good to know, and I'm sure a lot of people will be able to go there and buy them, and having a discount is even better.
For sure. We have a question in the comments there. Thank you for that. I think it's IG Hairstyles asked if you can use wigs. The answer to that is no. So this competition, we want to see natural hair. We want to see, obviously you can color, and there's several different categories, things like that, which we'll go through shortly. But we don't allow the use of wigs. You can use hair pieces if it was needed for filler or for things like that. But we certainly don't want to see like obvious manipulation of artificial hair. Okay.
And if you are using artificial hair or anything to fill, make sure that if you are, and we do make it live, that you are able to recreate that without anybody seeing that there is artificial hair in there.
Totally. So I hope that answered your question. IG Hairstyles there, I see you in the comments. Thank you for that. If you have more questions or if that wasn't clear, go ahead and slide into our DMs. We're happy to discuss further. Okay. So ML, let's talk about, so that was rules and dates. So for prizes, guys, I'm going to keep this one simple. Okay. We have for our salon team category and our elite category, the prizes are a little bit different for those. I will refer you guys to the website for that. But essentially all the color categories, the cutting categories, the creative categories, barbering, the bridal categories, like all the other bulk of categories, top prize in each category, guys, is $5,000. So $5,000 to the winner.
That's amazing.
Right? It's a good payday.
Yeah,
I'll take
it. It is. That's a lot of shopping.
That right? Exactly. Well, and it's not bad considering, like, you know, it's a photo of a moment in time on Instagram. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So ML, on that note, I'm going to throw it over to you to talk about the website.
Awesome. So as Chelsea said, you guys know where to find the website. It's beautyandvisionawards.com. On there, you're going to find categories that will tell you how to enter. So you have the Envision part where you have your mood boards, you have all your categories, and that part is where you choose where you want to go with this. So whether you're doing, color or texture, salon team for sure is another one. So there are several different categories that you can choose from. You're for you, and then decide from there. The mood boards are there to help you and guide you as to kind of how to take it off from there. And then you can kind of let your creativity kind of fill the rest. After that, the important part is it'll tell you how to post your photo, okay? As Chelsea said, you have to make sure that it's in by May 20th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to hashtag your category, and you also want to put at Wella Education on there as well. Once you've done that, then you want to move to the voting. So you want to make sure that you share your vote and inform your friends and family to vote for you, because those votes will count towards you being selected as a semi-finalist. So I highly recommend that if you are going to do it, tell all your friends, tell all your family, and they can tell all their friends and family, so that helps your votes as well. And this is how the steps to kind of enter with the Beauty Envision Awards.
So for the voting, this is a great point, actually, and it didn't even occur to me to talk about this, but this is a great point. So thank you. So for the voting, guys, when your entry goes up on Instagram, and for the person who put the question into the question cards, I totally saw it, and I'm going to get there, so stay tuned. For the voting, guys, when you guys do your entry on Instagram, like ML said, you're going to have your image, you're going to create your image, you're going to put it up on Instagram, you're going to put your category hashtag into the caption, not the comments, and you're going to tag at Wella Education. What happens at that point is that we can see through the hashtag from the back end, we can see the entry, we can pull it off of Instagram and put it up onto, we call it a microsite, but essentially it goes up onto the Beauty Envision Awards website, and your people can vote on there. Now, what ML was saying about the link, once your photo goes up onto the Beauty Envision Awards website, it has a shareable option underneath it, so you can put it up on your social media and tag people in it, or just get people to vote every day, right?
Yeah, and it can be voted every day.
Totally. You can vote once. You can vote once a day, right? So this most successful people I've seen, guys, with voting, the way that they do it, and the way we did it when we were sort of at the beginning of this, was we got every client that sat in our chair, we got them to pull their phone out and they voted. Every day we shared it on our social media. My husband voted and my mother voted, and essentially anybody that I ran across during the day, I was like, hey, you got a phone? Vote. Let's do this.
Yeah, and your clients will be more than happy to vote for you. So don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid, right? Now, for the voting thing, guys, the voting component is obviously a smaller sort of component than the judging of the technical and the craft work, but it is still an important thing. And what a great way to sort of market yourself and start talking to clients about how passionate you are about your craft, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. So that's sort of the meat and potatoes of how you're going to enter. So for more information on this part of it, or to sort of put it together, you're going to go to beautyenvisionawards.com. Okay. I'm actually going to put that, I'm going to try, I'm not great at this, but I'm going to put this into, I'm already spelling it wrong. I'm going to try and pin this into the comments. Just give me 1 second. Awards.com. Post. There, it's in the comments. Nailed it. Let me see if I can pin it. Pin comment. Oh, double nailed it. There we go. So that's your website there, guys, to head over for more information on this part of it, okay? So let's talk about putting together an entry. Now, we had a question in the question cards a few minutes ago. What do you suggest for photography? I know a few, but they are flakes. And we thank you for the question. We've certainly run into this before. Anybody who's competed, ML, like, have you seen this before where a photographer is just super flaked on you?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. So I would say, in my experience, that's happened more in my career with models than with photographers. Usually a photographer's, because they're being paid, they're on it, right? So for photographers, when you're seeking out a photographer, there's a couple of things I look for when I'm building my team, whether it's photographer or makeup artist or models. First and foremost, I need to work with people that have good attitudes, good positive attitudes. Because I'm not your mother. You know what I mean? I don't have the energy or capacity to manage somebody else's like bad attitude when I'm trying to do something that's so important to me. I need to be able to focus, right?
It is definitely something that we've crossed quite a few times. Just a little note on that, Chelsea, especially making sure that the model understands how long the process is and to be prepared for it, to, make sure that they are prepared to sit there for that amount of time And like Chelsea's saying, you need a positive attitude.
Yes.
Because it is a long process for both, agreed, but it's definitely, helpful when both parties are A+ and ready to do this, right?
Yeah, totally, working together, right? Do you remember
100%.
that time that model threw up on me when I was working with Hannah?
Yeah.
God bless you. Hey, shout out to Hannah Curry. Like, remember that day? I took one for
We
the
have
team that
seen
day.
it.
We've had some times. So when it comes to photographers specifically, though, I actually just donated my amazing photographer to ML because he moved to BC. But I actually found the guy that's shot a lot of our BEA stuff here in Alberta and has shot my personal competition looks. I found him on Instagram. I searched when I first moved to Alberta, I searched the hashtag Edmonton photographer, and I found a few that I liked and whatever, but when I found the guy that I work with now, or that I think ML's going to start working with now as well, it just fit. Like, he was used to the type of photography that I was talking about. His editing skills were on point. He's very patient. He's not afraid to tell me what he thinks and all of that kind of stuff. So those are things that I look for. I want, as an artist, I know ML, you feel the same. I want to work with a team that the photographer is going to photograph and the makeup artist is going to make up and I'm going to hair and the model is going to model. Like, I want everybody to work together because I'm not a photographer. And so if you need me to do your job for you, I don't know why I'm paying you. You know what I mean? Like, I want the photographer to photograph, right?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I just look for people that have great attitudes, who, are able to see the vision. Obviously the price has to be right, although that's, I will be honest, a secondary consideration for me. And if price is more of a consideration for you guys, I think it's important as well to split the cost, right? If you have a photographer who has an expensive day rate, they're probably super worth it, right? But get a bunch of other artists together, maybe a half a dozen of you or so, and split the cost. A good photographer will be able to shoot 4 models or 6 models in one day.
Right. There is another option too, right, Chelsea? If somebody can't find a photographer, like for anybody in the West, kind of the BC area, if you do want a photographer, please feel free to reach out and I will definitely hand over the name that Chelsea has provided. But there is another option for people who are maybe on their own or whatever the case may be, and Chelsea can explain that for you guys.
Yeah, so this is a really great segue. Actually, this was on our list anyway, so we might as well talk about it now. But I think that, there's no prerequisite here, guys, that it has to be a professionally shot photo. And I'm going to show you some examples of this sort of at the end here in a few minutes. But there's no prerequisite for that, right? We've had people shoot professional photos that are professionally edited and all of those sorts of things, okay? But we've also seen winners of this competition who shot their own photos with their phone. Super happened, right? There's no prerequisite that guys, that you have to spend any money or do anything super crazy. Like, ML and I know a stylist personally who won an arm of this competition with a photo that he shot with his phone. Shout out Ziad. Hey, buddy.
Shout out Ziad.
Yeah. But all of that to say, guys, it's totally possible. And especially with, pandemic times, we're seeing people get really creative. We saw people do really amazing things with their phone and a mannequin head and dressing mannequins and taking makeup off. And people got really creative last year and it was amazing to watch, right?
Yes.
So don't be afraid, guys. I'll show you, I'm just going to turn my camera around. I have, I'm in my studio right now. I have this corner here, see that's just the corner where my doorway is, but it's a perfect little corner there where I can set up a mannequin head and have just a little white wall sort of booth there. I do encourage people to maybe go online and find out a little bit about Facetune or Photoshop if you want to do that stuff. But there's nothing to say that you can't use the settings. All of our phones, these phones, guys, they do so much. It's so crazy, right? So don't be afraid to shoot your entry with your phone and see what happens.
Agreed. If you have a teenager at home, they can help you too.
Maybe Amazing. Teenager, please. I have an 8-year-old who could probably do this. So I could probably work that thing better than I can. So, but use your resources, guys. Do what you got to do. But yeah, we don't require professional photos. But I'm going to show you in a minute some photos of past winners and things that have won in the past. And I'm going to point out some things to look for, even if you're going to shoot your own image, some things to look for. Okay. So as far as, so we talked about sort of how to enter, and what to do. I hope that we sort of covered that, you know, a little bit. Do you have any more points on, photographers or makeup artists, ML?
I don't, because I'm newer to the Vancouver area, but I definitely, if you are interested, like I said, on the photographer side, thank you, Chelsea, for that. That's a big help. As for makeup artists, if you decide you want to go that route, I definitely will be digging more into it to get more info and find out if I can get some good recommendations for people who are looking to use a makeup artist. So feel free to let me know, and I will definitely do my homework and find someone for you.
Totally. Actually, now that we're talking about it, ML, I think I do know somebody in Vancouver. I'm going to text you later.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's talk about the finer points on you know, what people always ask me, and I'm sure you get this as well, ML. People always ask us, what are the judges looking for? What do you think? What do you think about that, ML?
Oh, it makes me stressed to think about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Oh, they're always, so the judges are looking for you to meet, you know, you want to follow the trend, right? To the best that you can. I think that's part of one of the biggest things they're looking for. They're looking that you followed it, you kind of know the trend, but you also have to remember that it has to be your own. So make sure that you are making it your own, but try to stay within the guidelines, because that's one thing that they're definitely going to penalize you on if you don't. So make sure that you're reviewing the mood boards, you're really diving into what that category is. And from there, do your homework before you create a look and then submit it. So that way, you know for sure that whatever they're looking at, it's true to that category.
So true. Yeah. Stay with the sort of the vision, right? I think it's important, you know, to understand as a competitor, that, you know, you can't crawl inside the judges' heads, right? Like, you'll know ahead of time who the judges are. You know, we usually announce it ahead of time. Excuse me, but it's hard to crawl inside their head and say, what on game day, what exactly is this person looking for? And I think you make a fundamental point there that when you're competing, you have to stay true to who you are. And this is about you. This is about showcasing you and your craft and your talent. And if that happens to line up with what a judge is looking for that day, you may just pull it off. The stars may just line up, and it may happen. But even if it doesn't take away from the value of the work, of the art, right?
Absolutely.
So that's when people ask me that question, I'll answer it, but for the most part, my answer is don't worry about it, because you'll never know.
Never.
Yeah,
absolutely. You have to make it your own. That's the important part. And at the end of the day, you're going to be the one that's proud of the work that you've done, and whatever ends up in the end, that's all you can do.
That's right. And we want to see you. We don't want to see what you think that the judges want. We want to see you, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some of those finer points. So I don't know how these photos are going to work out. I just sort of downloaded some of them, but we'll see. So this is our very good friend, Suzanne, who you can only see part of her there, I think. But she's somebody who has done a lot of competitions in the past. And she is somebody who understands these sort of finer points. So I wanted to put this photo up, and this is some of Suzanne's work, and I'm going to shout out Suzanne Pack, hey girl. I'm going to show some of her work, and I'm going to show a few other people. So some of the finer points in creating these looks, guys, first of all, this is a really great model, right? Really great bone structure to work with. When it comes to model selection, guys, I said this on the other live, and I'll say it again. I like to work with interesting looking models. I don't necessarily go for traditional model standard. In fact, I don't believe in that. I don't think that should be a thing. And at Wella, we also believe that shouldn't be a thing, where we want to see diverse models. We want to see, whatever model inspires you. That's what we want to see. There's no prerequisite for male models or female models or trans models or anything like that. We want to see you and what inspires you, and whatever way that comes about is totally good with us. So This model, I think, is a good one because she has really, really beautiful bone structure. Is the first thing I see when I look at her. Is she has really beautiful bone structure, don't you think? Look at those cheekbones.
It totally is. And I have to say that that's probably one of Suzanne's requirements when she's doing a model, because of a lot of her looks. She's always looking for that strong jawline and bone structure.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So I think, I think the bone structure here is really good. And we certainly see like really strong lines and things like that. The craft elements of this photo are done really well. And I love that the makeup sort of matches the jacket, those sorts of things. Right.
Yeah.
So those are finer points I think that we need to sort of pay attention to, is that balance when we're creating a photo, right? People always go for symmetry, but we're really just looking for a balanced photo, right? Yes. So I think another one of Suzanne's good ones was this one, right? And again, we see strong lines, we see balance, we see a bit of symmetry, but this one, and ML, you can attest to this as well, this one is right on trend. If you saw the vision boards for this, she nailed it, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, she nailed that one for sure.
Yeah, totally. So again, this is a good example of what sort of the trend of what following the inspiration on the mood boards looks like, right? Last one from Suzanne is this one, which actually, it's fun fact, that girl, I believe, ML, correct me if I'm wrong, that girl and this girl are the same person, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's amazing how transformative these things are, right?
She was an amazing model, so great to work with, which makes competing so much easier.
Yeah, spectacular attitude, right? So on this one, I know we can't see a ton of the hair here, but I know Suzanne had this wardrobe was custom made for this photo shoot. But the wardrobe and the hair and everything sort of works together. The lines are really sharp. There's not this photo. I saw the original unedited versions of all of these photos, guys. None of these are overly edited. Okay. So we want to see that. If you're looking for what are the judges looking for, we want to see balance. We want to see the trend in there, but we also want to see you. And if you know Suzanne, these 3 photos are very her.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so I also wanted to show a few more before we're done here. It's on, some of these aren't working, but this one is from a salon here in Alberta from last season. This is from a very beautiful stylist who I'm very close to, named Diane Gallant, from here in St. Albert at Bliss Hair Studio. This is her work, and just the color in it is really well done. This is a color, I know you guys can't see a ton of it, but this is a color entry. And the colors are nice and bright and vibrant, but they also work together. I was at this photo shoot too, and I'm glad you can see a little bit of her dress, because the dress in this, we changed like, I don't know, half a dozen times before we had one that was working. Okay. So for those of you that are wondering, yes, we can be on site for these photo shoots if you have an educator that lives in your area, or even if you want to FaceTime one of us in just so we can help, or we can guide you or offer opinions, we're happy to do that.
Agreed. No problem at all. If you guys need any help from us, that's what we're here for.
Totally. So I want to show a couple more pictures before we're done, ML, okay? So this one, I want to see if I actually have a better version of this one. Oh, there we go. So this was done a couple seasons ago by a really beautiful, talented artist, again, here in Alberta, named Kelsey Sebo. Hey, Kels. She competes every year, and she's come very close, but has never won. And she keeps coming back, and she keeps trying again. And, you know, Kelsey's really somebody that understands that, you know, it's not about the win, it's about the experience. And she's gained so much from Envision, I know, and from Bea Award. So this photo I wanted to show because it's different, right? What do you see? What do you see here that's different from your perspective, ML, than our sort of normal entries?
Just the different textures. A lot of times we see a lot of smooth.
Yes.
Here there's a lot of different textures, a lot of different focal points, which attracts the eye. A lot of times we see more of just kind of a smooth over, you know, very slick to showcase the color. But here you kind of have a balance of both. You've got the texture, you've got a showcase of color in there, a lot of different points, which is really awesome.
And that's what I saw as well. Like usually in BEA and Trend Vision Award entries, we see a lot of like bowl cuts. We see a lot of like smoothness, which is great. It takes a lot of precision to do those sorts of things.
Absolutely.
But Kelsey went a different direction here. And people don't believe me when I say this, but that is all that model's own hair. I was there when she put this together. I will swear on my daughter's life, that is all that model's own hair. She sat there with a crochet hook and pulled it all through. It was unbelievable to watch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this one was a finalist, so but didn't win. Like this is such an incredible photo. It's hard to believe that something beat it, but something did. So, but I think the finer points here, guys, is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the texture. Don't be afraid to do something that's completely different than everything else that you're seeing. Right? I think what's strong about this entry is the craft. Right? The craft and the just the artistry that it takes to put something like this together is very strong. Okay. Last but not least, I don't know how this one's going to go, but this is also one of Kelsey's entries. It's hard to see here. But for this one, she did a lot of braiding, and there's like spikes sticking out of the top of it as well. So it's kind of like this one, that it's an example of something that's very different, but still the craft of this, guys, is always very well done. And if you want us to tell you what the judges are looking for, we can't really do that because I can't crawl inside their heads either. But I will tell you that craft will always speak the loudest. Just well done work. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. That's excellent work.
Yeah.
It makes it different. You also want to kind of be that different. You don't want to be like everybody else, right? That's the nice part of it being your own look. So don't be afraid to kind of do different things with it and be creative. That's the whole part about competing, is to be creative.
Totally. I think for me, competing too was like not having the time constraints of the salon, like not, saying, oh, I'm running behind, or I got to be done, or I'm not going to have time to eat, or like whatever, you know what I mean? Our photo shoots were marathons, but I've also had photo shoots that came really, really easily, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you just have to be prepared for that and find your way to grow in it, right?
You definitely have to make sure you have enough time. If you finish earlier, that's fantastic. But it can go, like Chelsea's saying, it can go either way. It could be a very smooth, easygoing day where you're done super early, or there's times where, you're there a little longer, but make sure you have the proper time to give it your all.
It's funny that we're talking about this now that I think about it. That picture that I showed you with you couldn't really see a ton of the color, but it was brightly colored.
Yeah.
I was there when Diane Gallant put that look together, and we went through many different dresses, many different, like in that photo, I'm actually standing on the outside of the frame holding a blow dryer. That's how they got
Oh yeah.
We've done this before.
I've used a bathroom mat to do like a wardrobe.
Yeah.
You do so many things. It's very creative, but in a photo, you may not know it, right? So
that's right. But we stood in the salon and we had so many beautiful shots of that work, but she was still standing there going, this is not what I envisioned. This is not how I wanted it to come out. So we pushed and we pushed and we pushed, and we were there for, a couple of hours longer than I thought that we would be. But in the end, Diane and I stood there and, took a moment and looked at it and thought that extra time, was worth it. It's all in the eye of the beholder, right? To some people, one image might not be, different than the other, but you as the artist want to be able to stand back afterwards and say, I did everything that I could, not, I wish I had taken that time.
And having multiple shots, like Chelsea was saying, of, taking a blow dryer or no blow dryer and doing all kinds of different shots, you may look back and think that you like this photo. And then when you see a different angle of it, it may just trigger, oh, that's the one. So don't be afraid to take multiple shots of your model in different angles, different things, different props. At the end, you may choose a photo that you didn't think would be the one, but it's amazing to do.
It's funny. I sat with a stylist in Red Deer a few seasons ago, and she trusts me very much and was asking for my advice about what image she should pick from her film. We had narrowed it down to like 5, and then we got it down to 2. Yeah. And she said to me, she goes, which one do you think? And I said, I'm not going to tell you what I think because you're just going to pick whatever I say, which is flattering. You know what I mean?
Yes.
but then she was, overwhelmed and whatever. So I ended up saying to her, I think that you should pick this one because it's the better hair photo.
Yeah.
And she bawled. She like burst into tears, but because she loved the other one. And it was hard for her to hear that I didn't agree with her. But in the end, I said to her, this is your moment. This is your shot. This is your art. It's not about what I think. I'm flattered that you put so much emphasis into that. But
go with your gut.
If you think it's that photo, it's that photo.
Agreed.
And in the end, it was that photo for her.
That's amazing. That's so great. It looks like a great photo from what I can see. It looked like amazing work.
Yeah, it was, and she was a finalist in the end, so we were very proud of Diane today. So.
Congratulations, that's fantastic.
So all of that to say, ML, I think that's our whole show here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any final thoughts on BEA Awards? Anything else that everybody needs to know?
Just be yourself. Honestly, give it your best. Be yourself. Be creative. Just follow the trends and have fun. That's probably the biggest thing, is just enjoy it. And at the end, you have a fantastic photo to look at and be proud of. Yeah,
we see you, Chris Hassel. We'll be looking for you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'll tell you, in the times that you and I competed together, the best memories, win, lose, or draw, the best memories I have from those times was just the time that all of us, our whole group, sort of spent together and created collectively was more life-changing than any of the wins, right?
Absolutely. It's probably one of the biggest achievement, not just as a hairstylist, but just learning and being with your coworkers. It was honestly the biggest achievement out of all. So I highly recommend it.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Anna. I very much appreciate it. And I'll text you later. Don't worry.
Awesome. Have a great day. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So I hope we've answered all of your questions today, guys. Thank you so much for those of you that have sort of interacted with us today and have joined us today. Again, guys, my Instagram handle is @chelsea.wella, so feel free to give me a follow, and you guys can slide into my DMs anytime. You can DM me at Wella Canada West. I also am one of the moderators for this account. So you guys can ask us any question at any time. Please get those entries in, guys. We want to hear from you. We want to see your art. We want to be inspired by you, just like we are every day. And we look forward to seeing what you guys have this season, okay? So if you guys learned anything today, please make sure that you pay it forward. Understand that you're only the caretaker of your knowledge. You're not the owner of it. And if you keep it to yourself and refuse to share it, it's wasted. So please take care of each other. Stay safe and wash your hands. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.